Welcome, everybody, to my 18th episode of Secret Sunday. 18 episodes.
On the 18th.
Oh, shit. No way.
Today's my brother's
Oh, my
birthday.
God. Today is the 18th.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's written in the stars. And I am joined by the Godfather of comedy, really.
Oh, no.
Look, yes, of this thing. I mean, I don't want to put myself in your class, but like of your class. 100%. You're the Godfather. Everything. If you want to be on a show, you got to talk to Jared Waters.
Well, you know, I'm just here for the community. I'm just here for anybody any applications at Bojangles. Just let me know I'm here. I'm here screening.
I did my first show.
Oh,
on
yes.
Your show.
Oh, yeah, you did.
It was freezing, and then I had anxiety and never did it again.
I keep forgetting a lot of people's first shows are our shows.
They still are, I feel.
Yeah, I met a lot of young comics in my day, and I was like, you ever done a show before? And they're like, no. I was like, well, come do my show. I don't know. I always like it when I think Yvette's, her first show was in the park as well. Lisa's first show was in the park. I remember I met some comic from Tampa. His name is Tim C. And he goes, you know, the first show I ever did in my life was at your show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry I introduced you to comedy.
I did a show and it was so cold. And then I asked you hit me up and I was like, okay, it's my first show. Do you have any tips? And you just said, wear gloves.
Wait, that's what I said.
You said it gets cold, wear gloves. And I was like, great.
It gets cold, wear gloves. That was a fun show. We're still doing it, but yeah, I love it in the park. I think that everybody deserves to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that no one should ever gatekeep someone's first time. Because you can always go up from there.
Yeah, that's true.
And everybody remembers their first time. Oof. And that's in a moment that someone can share forever. So there's a lot of people who've probably done stand-up, but remember, the first show I ever did was Jared Waters.
Yeah. I feel like so many people.
Maybe some of them.
You're going to be in a lot of like thank you speeches.
They better. They better put
You'll
me
be in mine for sure.
It's like, yeah, we came to a freezing cold park. Oh, it was. You brought a friend too, right?
David, my best friend.
Yes,
Yeah.
It was.
What
I
a good
forgot
friend.
somebody was hiding in the car. And
that wasn't mine.
No, it wasn't you, but some dude was on the show like, come on, man, when y'all going to start?
It was so cold. There was snow on the ground. I was literally standing on snow.
Standing on the snow, yep.
That was like height pandemic.
Yeah, just me and Matthew. I remember Matthew had these little...
the hand warmers?
Matthew had the hand warmers.
That's how I met Lisa, because she was like, I have hand warmers. Yeah, and I was like, please.
Matthew
it was
had the
so
hand
cold.
Warmers, yeah. Matthew, I think he was 16 or 15 when he turned 15. I remember he was in the green room talking about Ronald Reagan. Like in a heated debate about Ronald Reagan.
He was 15.
With these older comics. I was like, who is this kid talking about Ronald Reagan inside here?
Wait, you've known Matthew that long?
Yeah, I've known him like that long. I remember I met him in the back of a green room in Governor's Comedy Club. We used to do this show in Governor's, and he was like they told me he's like the young comic. He was just started when he was 15. And I remember I was in a green room, he was talking about Ronald Reagan.
And he still does, kind of.
And then he told me this story about him getting arrested, and I thought it was the funniest story ever. I was like, you should tell that story about him getting... Then he shows me the video on his phone. I was like, I got arrested at a Mets game, and he showed me that. Then after that, we bonded after that.
I love that.
It was like that. I was probably the youngest adult there, but he was the youngest person. He was the youngest person there.
He's been doing it forever.
6 years.
Seems so like you've seen him grow.
Seen him grow. He's grown
because he's grown as a person as well.
As a boy to a man. Yeah, I'm proud of him. He's doing really well.
Yeah,
it's one of my dogs.
Aww.
I would say one of my closest. Yeah, we fuss and fight because I love that little kid.
That's just what it is. Yeah, that's just how it goes.
Nothing but love between me and little Matthew. Sorry, Big Matthew.
Big Matthew. Yeah, he wouldn't like that.
But that's how he got his name. I remember. I was doing this big show, and they're describing a Matthew, and I was like, which one? They're describing. I was like, Arval, they're like, it's not that one, and I described every last name. It's the little one. I was like, the little one. I was like, I know who you're talking about. And they said, yeah, that little kid was just hitting, because I saw this little kid, and I was like, oh, that's Matthew. His name is Matthew. I said, oh, well, little Matthew, and that's where it got it from. These big comments. It's like, this the little one.
The little one, because he was just a little guy. Yeah, I had him on 20, here.
But I mean, it was just like. He was in the park, and they saw him light up a park. I forgot what show they did, but we were at the cellar talking about something. They're talking about the guy that does a show with the little one. What's the little kid's name? And I was like, yeah. But everybody's old. That's the thing.
Yeah,
everybody's in their 40s and stuff like that.
It's
so they're
true.
describing them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen him grow as a boy. I've seen you, JC. I've seen all y'all. It's like I want to see people get confidence. I think I remember... Was it JC's first show back or something like that? The street talk thing.
Oh, yeah.
The microphone goes off, and I see this little bushy hair guy looking around.
That was his first show, yeah.
Uh-huh. He followed me, yeah. I've seen a lot.
That's awesome. It must feel good to see people grow.
But I remember John Lasseter, that tall dude that walks around.
Yeah.
He gave me my first show in New York City.
Really?
I was like 18 years old when I came to New York City to visit from college. And I remember I wanted to do stand-up since I was 16. I started when I was young, like in the Netherlands, like doing what I would used to do.
Started in the Netherlands?
Yeah, I lived in the Netherlands. I lived in the Netherlands, Tokyo. My dad was in the military, so
Oh,
he
that's
lived
right.
around
You told me
the world.
this. Yeah.
So there was no place to do stand-up except this guy, Tom, God, I forgot his name was, but he had a stand-up show in Amsterdam. So we would go out there, and he goes, I can't put you on my show. You're like a kid or something like that. And I was like, I write stand-up. I listen to stand-up, everything else. He goes, come back when you go to the States and everything else. So what happens when I got all these scholarships to go to college, they had to write speeches, and I would just do stand-up routines for my scholarship things. When I was like 16, 17. And then when I got to, I went to North Carolina for college, and my roommate at the time, the guy next door, goes, I'm from Brooklyn. And we just hung out. His name was Steve. And he goes, man, I can get you shows in New York. And he goes, yeah. And he calls his sister, and his sister goes, tell him when he comes for Thanksgiving, we'll get him some shows.
No way.
That's how it happened. So I was sitting there. So I don't know if they were like, I don't know if she was dating, but John Lasseter, to this day, I tell him, he doesn't remember though, but I remember he was sad because he just did Stand Up for Diversity or One and got like a big check, but he was sad about something. I remember it was on Thanksgiving Day, the day, it was Thanksgiving, it happened Thanksgiving night in an abandoned warehouse in Brooklyn. And he goes, all right, kid, you're first. And the host brought me up, and I didn't know who he described because, like, this comic's played all over colleges. He's gone all over the place.
Yeah.
I was like, who the fuck is he talking about? Let's give it up for my man, Jerry Waters.
Jerry.
And I was like,
Oh, shit, that's me, I think.
I got out from the crowd, and I remember I used to have this slow, nervous pace of like just telling jokes. So I was telling jokes so slow that everyone knew the punchline because I was young. And I remember John coming up to me going, like, man, he goes, the kid with the soccer jersey on, he goes, man, you starting out young. He goes, trust me, if you stay at it, it'll change. Trust me, you stay at it, you keep getting up, I promise you're going to get better. Because after that night, that was like the lowest night I ever felt in comedy because everybody's funnier than me.
Yeah.
I remember just people from TV, everything else. I remember all.
That's a crazy show to do.
Yeah,
like
he was, everybody was on TV. Everybody was on TV. I was like the youngest comic in experience, and I was just doing it in college too.
Yeah.
So then he tells me, like, he just tells me, get back up, write about yourself, everything else. He said, because you're writing about college. But Lily said, look, none of these niggas been to college in here.
I love that.
He's like, nobody been to college in here. So your humor was like, get to college, so the more you get out. And then when I went back, that's when I realized, like, okay. So I always had that mind in my head what New York comedy was like because I seen it at the height of it.
Yeah.
So when I went back to college, I realized that what I was doing was like that, but I knew what real comedy was. So when I went back to Florida, everything else, I was like, I knew in my background I got funny, but I was like, I knew I got to move to New York.
Yeah.
This is where I saw the big boys play it. But yeah, John Lasseter gave me, and I remember that feeling.
John Lasseter's super nice. I met him like a month ago at Disco Nap.
He
Such
doesn't
a nice
remember
guy.
at all. And I was like, yo, man, I just want to say thank you. He goes, he doesn't remember. Make how many shows he's done.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
And sometimes I don't remember when
They're
people
big.
tell me like,
they're
oh,
big for us, but like for him, he's like,
So when comments, I did your show. I'm like, I don't even, all right, cool.
cool. I'm glad.
Jared, I met you before. I was like, oh, my bad. Hey, good to meet you. So I meet a lot of people. So I'm always like, just my name is Jared Waters. But I remember those nights. So I remember how nice he was to me when I first started out. So that's why I realized anybody starting out, you got to be nice to him.
You're nice to everybody.
Nice.
Knows who you are. You literally, like, I'll meet somebody in the middle of Brooklyn at a mic, like they just been doing comedy for like 2 seconds, and they'll be like, "I know Jared Waters." I'm like, of course you do, 100%.
I remember when nobody knew me.
Yeah, I know everybody. That's what I'm saying. You're like the Godfather.
I remember when I just be in New York, just lost at open mics. Nobody was from Florida. Nobody's from North Carolina. It was just me by myself. And I just literally just met people. But that's just me growing up in the Netherlands. Every 3 years, my dad was in the military, so moved around. So I'm good at making friends fast and everything else.
Oh, you're good
and
at
I just
that.
started surveying the scene. And I was like, you got to talk. You can't just be quiet. And you can't get anything unless you ask. And that's the hardest thing for people who don't know what to ask. Everybody's scared to ask something.
That's me. I'm terrified.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
I know. That's what everybody. I mean, that's my whole life though. Like my mom's always like, "Speak up." I'm like, no.
How'd you get a job? You had to ask.
I'm so good. I used to be terrible. That's why I have so much hope for comedy because I used to be terrible at interviews. Like I used to be awful. Like I couldn't. And now, I haven't had an interview that I've not gotten the job in over like 10 years. Like if I interview for something, I get it because I'm like super confident. But it's, I had to like learn and I had to do it a lot.
Yeah, I'm good at interviews. I'm just good at on my feet. I'm good at my feet because when you move around a lot, you have about 20 seconds to be the new kid. And I was a new kid a lot of times.
Yeah.
So I know what it's like, someone being new into the situation. So that's why I'm always like, I want to introduce them to everybody, because when I'm the new kid, I was like, I know what it's like being the new person. And I know when people just don't like you because you're new.
That's true, too.
It happens when they're new. They think you're trying to take their friends. I remember I was in 5th grade. This dude named Andrew Jenkins. That's his name. And his
full name.
Andrew Jenkins, because it turns out his grandmother was my grandmother's cousin. But I didn't know that. But all these give me a hard time. He goes, you trying to take my best friend Jack away? And I was like, man, I'll beat you up if you. That's how angry I was. You know, when you bounce around a lot, you're just always like,
you gotta be like, I gotta handle myself.
First day of school, I'm either gonna fight somebody or anything else. I'm not gonna let nobody tease me. And he kept telling us, like, why you keep talking about Jack? And I remember I was like, man, you trying to take my friend Jack away? Y'all been hanging out all summer. I was like, man, you live in the hood. You never gonna see Jack. He lives in my neighborhood. Freak you gonna talk? Jackson's my best friend. I was like, well, he lives next door to me.
Yeah.
And then after that, he like kind of calmed down. I remember in class, I would make people laugh, and he'd be like, man, I was the funny person. Y'all always laughing at his jokes. And then
oh my God, he must be eating his words now too.
I remember telling my grandma, and she goes, you gotta fight him.
I love that. That's so funny. My mom worked in my school, right? And at home, my mom was a totally different person than she was when she was at work. And she got like called into like the principal's office because in class they were like, what do we do if somebody hits us? And I was like, hit them back. They were like, no.
Whose kid is that?
Yeah. And then I was like, well, that's what my mom says. My mom told me, like, if I get hit, I better hit back, otherwise she's gonna hit me. And they were like, did she say that? And then they were like, you can't be teaching Samantha that. Like,
my mom had to pick me and my brother. So me and my sisters they're not, maybe they're Gen Z. My sisters, they grew up completely different than us. We might be like 6 years apart, but they got the nice versions of my parents. But me and my brother were the ones moving around. So me and him were like this because we always bounced together.
yeah.
And I remember someone called, they're like making mama jokes on the bus.
Oh, that was
and
big.
My brother said something to this kid, and this kid got so mad. And then we were just riffing off their mom. Then they just pull us off the bus, and we go to the principal's office. And then my mom made us regurgitate every joke that we said on the bus and trying to teach us a lesson. And my dad's just back there laughing no time. Like, say it again. What'd you say?
What'd you say? Those are my boys.
Like, your mama's so fat. I thought my brother, your mama's so fat. She sat on a rainbow.
Skittles popped out.
He said, no, he didn't. He said something. Your mama's so fat. She sat on a rainbow and crushed all the leprechauns or something like that. Crushed all the leprechauns.
I love it.
And then,
no, mama jokes were everything.
I remember it was that. So me and him were always the one, just like that was the only person I had, but he was a grade older than me. And my mom skipped me in school, so I was always the young person in school.
Oh, okay.
So the goal was they were supposed to hold me back in preschool. And the teacher's like, we can't hold him back. He's too smart. So I was always a young person in every grade. So I'm always just like with this. Like I know what it's like being a young person, everything else.
Wait, when's your birthday?
January 5th.
That's my niece's birthday.
Shout out to your niece.
Oh,
niece.
she'll be three this year.
Oh.
She's a little
She's
baby.
3. She'll be 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fighting thing was just like you learn how to, like when I got in my teens, I learned how to master my anger. But I remember when you bounce around a lot, kids are just freaking mean. And my cousins, they were like, my cousin played for the Steelers. He would freaking F us up. Like when he would hold us down with the pillow and put a pillow.
God.
Help!
Yo, people that didn't grow up with their cousins, they don't get it. Like I was getting my ass beat by all my cousins.
Let me tell you something about, maybe that's why I'm with dogs. My cousin had these giant Tasmanian dogs and big dogs, and they would be
what
behind
the hell is a
fence.
Tasmanian?
It looks like a Tasmanian devil. It's a big giant black dogs. His name to this day is Richard and Kenyatta, and they had these big dogs in the backyard, but they were running the house, and I was scared of dogs, and they put me outside with the dog, outside, and I'm
terrifying.
Screaming, help, help, and like, stay out there, stop moving. And I'm sitting there, I didn't know my dad's phone number. I was like, well, I'm gonna come pick us up there. I don't want to stay out here no. And then I remember Nate would tell me, like, if you run, the dog's going to chase you. So I'd run in the house, the dog would chase me. And then eventually one day I just stood still and they'd, like, stop. And I remember this white dude in my neighborhood was like, when you go back to your cousin's house, he was in my Boy Scout. If you stand up like a scarecrow, the dog would jump you and just leave it alone. So I remember I just stood like this.
And
the dog, like, went on top of and then he just left me alone. But yeah, they were just like nobody at school could hurt me worse than, like, my cousins love me, but that's just how they played. That's how they are.
Yeah. That's how we played too.
So we were just like, we were very rough. So I remember like kids was just, you're the new kid. So being that new kid, especially in life, I'm always bouncing around. So that's why I can feel when somebody don't like me. I can feel like if my presence disturbs them, because I know when you bounce around a lot, you can feel it immediately. It was like, all right, we're not going to be friends.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you think something of me that you don't know already because you're judging me.
Yeah.
Like I feel that when like you walk into a room.
Oh, you
that
could
was,
definitely feel that.
you could feel it with people. I could feel with people, some people that I work with, that they would never talk to me unless we work together.
I feel that. I've felt that so many times where I'm like, oh, you would never even speak
Right.
to me.
We would never, and like just completely different lines.
Yeah,
So
it's
this place brings us together. And actually, that's a good thing that this place has made us bonded, become friends.
It's true. Like friends that I've worked with, I would never have been friends with. Or we would have never crossed paths. We don't go to the same places. We don't like the same things. But then you end up talking to them like, oh, it's cool, kind of cool to get to know different people like that. And you build friendships that you don't actually think you would.
So all the friends that I know are just all around the world. So I lived around the world. So people don't be surprised. They're like, wow, how does he know that language? How does he know everything else? He speaks a lot of language. It's like, I just asked. I got friends. So I'm always a person just to break the ice so it's not awkward.
Now, do you think you're going to stay in New York?
Yeah. I'll never leave and start back over again.
No?
I'll never go to a comedy scene and start back over.
Okay.
I have to go this way.
Yeah.
So if the next move is to California for a show, I would leave, but I would never just leave and go back. I think New York comedy is the hardest thing to do.
That's what we were just saying that yesterday. We were at a show and they were saying like New York is difficult. Like when you get on the road, you're like, oh, this is easier.
Well, I debate that too.
Really?
I think some city comics have a hard time being on the road because you make all these Trump jokes. And good luck. These are all Trump's people right here. Like
I stay away from the politics shit.
The Midwest and the South is like this. You got to be funny first before you talk about your life.
Yeah.
In New York City, it's about who are you.
Who are you? They want to know.
They want to know.
They want to feel comfortable.
It's the beats, everything fast. In the South, they'll give you time because everyone's paid $80 for a ticket. They're excited. They got the heels on. They got everything else. So they're going to give you the grace period to be funny because we already paid money. We know you're going to give us a show.
Yeah. Oh,
this
wow.
One, like, I got these tickets free.
Yep. And I gotta go because everyone's like this in New York.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
So it's just like learning the pace and everything.
Yeah. We were just saying that yesterday. Stacey Cordell was and he had just came from a show. Like I guess he was on the road last week, and he was like in New York. It's like boom, 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 and he went there and he had 25 minutes, and he was like, it was so different. Like you didn't have to be like that. You could take your time, and he's like, it's actually really nice. Like here, we're like, he's like, you never get 25 minutes here. Like you never, you do, but it's not. You know, you have to be like really well into it, or like it's super rare to come by. He's like, you're doing 8-10 minutes there. He's like, I was there like. He said that, he had to do 30 minutes. And he said his first night, after 22 minutes, he was like winded. He's like, shit. Like, I've been talking so much. And like, yeah. And he's like, I've been rushing through this. And then he's like, you learn like the pacing like is totally different on the road.
And then the comics, even the big dog comics that go on the road, they're completely different comedians when they go out.
Yeah.
Most of the comics that are like headliners and stuff like that, when in the city, they're like working on stuff.
Yeah.
But when they get on the road,
yep, they're on it.
it's that A material. It's
It's the heavy hitters. Yep. Yep.
Like that, them haymakers.
I love
so
that.
I think like when you're in the South or the Midwest, you have the grace period of developing time. Mm-hmm. But New York City people understand the business. So you starting in New York is like ×2 wherever you start out. Mm-hmm. There's a comic that came to our park show, and she hasn't been doing that long, maybe 9 months in Florida, and another comic has been doing 9 months in the city. And the difference was just like him getting up every night and her getting up like once, like every 4 times a week, and him getting up at open mic, maybe 15 times at open mic. So of course he's gonna have the stage presence, everything else, the beats. So yeah, I think that's what happens when you're just going through. But yeah, the city is nice. I wouldn't start back over again. I feel like it took me a while to make who I am now. Start over in Tampa, North Carolina, done that. But like the next time if I have to leave to California, it's got to be like this.
Yeah.
But I think the stuff that you do in the stuff you do in New York travels in California. So people know me in California now.
Yeah, I feel like it's
a lot of comics know me around.
Because people jump from both places. So
coast to coast.
Exactly.
I've done enough networking that I can go to California and get some work.
I feel like, Jared, you can go. I feel like everybody knows you. You can go to any city. I feel like everybody's going to be like, oh, Jared? Yeah, put him on a show.
I was in London for a while. I had a great time there. Like, how long are you here for? I was like 3 months. They're like, what? I said, yeah, let's work.
I love that.
Let's do it.
When were you in London?
The year before the pandemic. After me and Lady got engaged. So Lady she got this 120.
Lady is his wife.
My wife used Lady. She got $100,000 scholarship to the University of Central London.
Oh shit!
One of the best schools in London.
Yeah.
And she goes out there. She's supposed to be there for like 7 months. And I was like, all right, I'll come out for the summer. The teachers don't work in the summer.
Exactly.
And I was like, what about stand up? I was like, I'll do stand up in London. And she's like, perfect.
Oh, you're
So
such a supportive. You're a supportive partner.
I left. I just left. So I left, had somebody watch my car for 3 months, and I just met all these London comedians, and I was just with them for like the whole 3 months. So I bonded with all of them. They're like, you gonna be out there tomorrow? I was like, I'm here all the time. I got nowhere to go. I'm here for 3 months. And it's just like me doing their mics, everything else, and just humbling myself. And after like maybe like the third week, they found out I was funny. I started getting all these shows and stuff like
That's
that.
awesome, Jared.
I was like, I got nowhere to be.
I feel like I would need 3 months to get acclimated. That's how uncomfortable. But you're used to like starting.
I lived
new.
in Europe before, so I knew the whole phase. And you realize they're British; they speak English.
Exactly, that's true. But it is a different culture.
Yeah,
No?
we lived in the Netherlands. I remember we went to London to visit, and I remember we forgot that they spoke English. So my friend walked up to this. He thought this chick was like German. He goes, listen. He said, look at your fine self. He thinks that she doesn't speak no English because in Germany we'd do this game just talking to people because they don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
He said, look at your fine self. He said, girl, I could put you in Buckingham Palace and make you a queen. She's like, what did you say? You put me in Buckingham Palace? And he's like, you speak English? Yeah, we taught you guys English. And I was like, oh, freak. Oh,
That's right.
We're like, what country are we in? We're in England.
I love that with
So,
your
like,
fine self.
With your fine self. He's from East St. Louis, big gold teeth, everything else.
I love that.
So we lived in Europe so long we just kept forgetting about like, oh, they speak English here. So every other week we would go to a different country. So imagine your best friends
That's so much fun.
traveling the world at like 15, 16,
That's
17
so
and
much
stuff like
fun.
that. So I'm like, I sound well versed.
Yeah, that's the
in
cool thing about
everything.
being in Europe though, because you could travel to different countries.
I like states, yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Poland,
weird.
I've been in almost every country out there. And
Yeah.
we'll get there. I always ask questions about the people. Mm-hmm. So that's what it was. London.
That's crazy. I love that. We should get into these confessions.
Let's get it. These are your confessions.
All right. I always try to pick confessions based on who's here. So this one's just funny because it goes from one extreme to the next. All right. So the first one is, I'm dating an older woman
Ooh,
and
I've
I
been
love
there.
her, but she doesn't want kids because she has them already. Sometimes I think about having sex with someone else just to give them my seed, but I'll stay with her.
Jesus Christ.
When I read that, I was like, this took a left. I didn't see that coming at all. I think it's going to be like, should I stay with her?
Read it again.
Dating an older woman, but
Okay.
I love her, but she doesn't want kids because she has them already. Sometimes I think about having sex with someone else just to give them my seed, but I want to stay with her.
This is a man?
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would tell him. Oh, are you going to give advice first? You go first.
No, I don't care. Go ahead.
No, I
There's no way
There's
that
no
I do
structure?
this. No, there's no structure to this. It's just convo.
Dating an older woman is, I've been well versed in that. I would say that you have to respect her bounds of her being through life, and you got to have that conversation with her saying that you want children. So stepping out of your relationship isn't the key to it. Putting your seed somewhere. You can literally get an in vitro baby.
That's
or
what I was
something
going
like
to say.
In
That's
vitro,
so funny to me that he's.
or you can just ask her, can you?
Well, what if she's old and she can't? I
I'm
wish.
talking about like surrogates. Like
Oh,
you can,
isn't that expensive?
no, it's $5,000 in Colombia. I googled it.
Yeah, but that.
5 bands.
Okay, but how do you know that she's not going to just take the money and not?
You can bring her here, have a work visa, put her in Kinston, North Carolina, so you can watch her. I've already thought all these things out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just like Kanye, get them surrogates. Get the surrogates and put the surrogate here, and you can do that.
Well, in America, it's expensive, right? I think it's like $100,000.
Oh, you can bring them here, 5,000 in
That's
Colombia.
nice.
They could like 6 months, bring her here.
So you have to do the doctor's stuff there? Like you have to get in
You can bring her as a
gonna
work
say
visa.
in
It's a
vitro.
work visa. You got to think they're working. That's like a work visa.
I know, but I'm saying you have to
9
then
months.
trust the doctors there to inseminate?
She doesn't want kids. I'm telling him to just have a baby in Colombia and bring it here. That's what I'm telling him to do.
Oh.
Or she can have eggs, or he can do in vitro as well. He can do a surrogate as well. I'm just saying he has options.
He does have options, but I feel like when he said I feel like I want to have sex with someone else, I'm like
That's disrespectful.
that's disrespectful to give them
He
their
gotta
seed.
relax. He gotta relax.
One thing about the people who write me these confessions, I don't know what the fuck they're on.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's the thing about older women too. One time I was spoken to this older one, a few older women. I feel like I've been around a lot of older women. I don't know what about me has this older women repellent, but
I love that.
one older woman, I remember I was like 18 or 19, and she had 2 kids that were 7 and 5, and she kept telling me about them, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to be
I don't
a
wanna meet them.
stepdad at all. And then she goes, no, I think I was 21, and then she's like, oh, I wish I met you 2 years ago. I said, that means your kids will be 5 and 3. What
difference does that make?
What difference does that make? 2 years ago wasn't going to change anything. But when you're dealing with a woman with kids, that's a tough thing.
That's super tough.
Very tough, because she comes with the father and his baggage.
Yeah. My mom, so my dad has a wife, an ex-wife and a kid, my brother Jason. But my mom said it's like the hardest thing to deal with. Like you have to deal with that other person forever. People say 18 years, but it's not true. It's for life, because they get married, everything. Like even when my brother had babies, like you're always there. I mean, now they're like, my mom like goes to Long Island, hangs out with my dad's ex-wife. Like they're super cool, but it was not always like that.
It's a community.
It takes years.
I was in college. This chick I was speaking with, I do remember her name. We'll keep her name
anonymous.
silent.
Yeah.
She didn't tell me she had a kid until we were hanging out. And when she showed me, I was like, who is this? That's my daughter. She had a 5-year-old daughter, right?
And she never said anything?
I never met her, but we met at a party and stuff like that. And we just hanging out and start kicking it. Then after a while, my personality, my charm, my smile, my eyebrows made her feel like, okay, maybe I can invest into the future with him. But I was about to graduate college, so I knew it wasn't going to go that far. I was going back to Florida. But I remember I had this giant picture of Michael Jackson in my room. A giant picture. True story. It was my apartment in college.
Which Michael Jackson?
It's Michael Jackson sitting like this.
But I'm saying, was he white Michael Jackson?
No, it's black Michael Jackson. He's like light skinned, and he's sitting there with a Jerry curl, and he's like sitting like
I love
this.
It. I think I know that picture.
He's staring at you. So when I wake up, I'm staring at him. So when she would come over, I would be all like, she's like, do you miss me? I was like, Michael misses you. So
I would die. Jared, I would die.
I always talk in third person. Girls loved that when I was in the streets. And I was like, I said,
are you a reformed toxic guy?
Yeah, 87% free. 87. Other 17% comes from my grandfather and the forefathers beyond. Not my dad, but my grandfather. Because when he had Alzheimer's, he had confessed to me who he really was at 19. I was like, good, I'm from the same cloth.
I love that. I love that.
But
That's
I was like,
funny.
Michael misses you. Me and Michael miss you. And we just talk like that. So sometimes she would play along like, well, tell Michael I'm coming over. I was like, I'll let Michael know. So one time we're just hanging out. And then I remember I got a random phone call when she left. And he goes, hey, man. Hey, dog. I said, what's up? Who is this? Hey, dog, you don't know who this is? But I'm going to let you know, man. Yo, I'm her baby father, dog. And I want my family back. And he goes, whatever you and Michael are doing with her, you need to bring her back.
No, he didn't.
He did. I was like, who? He said.
He thought Michael was a real person.
Yeah, he broke into her phone. He goes, I don't know what y'all got going on in that house. And he goes, whoever you and Michael is, y'all need to let that go. I got a family, and I don't want my daughter around. I don't want my daughter around you two. And then I was like, you're not even going to believe the truth, man. I was like, trust me. I was like, Michael is just Michael Jackson. Oh, you think I'm a fool, right? You think you and Michael Jackson is over here got my baby mother all googly-eyed? If you're not gonna marry her or love her, you need to let her go. That's what he said.
You sent a picture of Michael.
I was just like, man. And then I think we went ice skating. And I just thought I didn't ghost her, but I was like, I think you need to get back with him. And she's like, what? Did he call you? I said, he called me. She's like, he didn't believe me when I said Michael's not a. He said, y'all think I'm a fool, right?
He thought she was in like a throuple.
Yeah, he thought that. He thought like she was talking to two dudes or something like that. And she's with this dude Michael anyways. And I was like, oh man, it's not.
Oh my god.
My middle name is Michael, so that's why it was just like it was like a double entendre and everything else. But he goes, you and Michael, y'all better leave it. Let her go. He called me. He goes, I don't want no problems. I ain't a violent person, but that's my kid. We trying to bring back our family.
Oh, that doesn't make you feel bad for him though.
And I said, look, dog. I said, you can get your family back.
Yeah, I don't want your family, bro.
I was like,
me and Michael, we're good over here.
He was like, yeah. You tell Michael. You tell Michael.
He was
like, what's his number? And I was like, all right,
bro. I don't have it.
But yeah, and then after that thing, I just like looked back at Michael like this. I just looked back at Michael Jackson.
And he's like, what is Jerry curl?
That was my thing.
I love that. That's so funny.
Facts.
Wait, how long have you been with your wife?
It's going on 10 years, a decade, 10 years.
Straight through?
2013, straight through.
That's beautiful.
Straight through. We had like a breakup for like a couple days, but that's it. Maybe like I think it was like a couple days and she got.
You were sick to your stomach.
That's when I made that joke. Yeah, that's when I made that joke about it too. She didn't even let me stay broken up for a long time. She like, we're not breaking up. I said, well, there goes me to the streets.
I love that. I love that.
But yeah, I've been together so long. I don't even know. I remember when I was talking to dudes, I was like, "What's Tinder? What is that?"
Yeah.
I remember Grindr because my roommate in Orlando is this big obese white man, and he kept bringing all these beautiful black men home, and I kept saying, "Where are you getting these dudes from?" And he shows me the app, and it started lighting. I said, "Oh, they're around." So we'd be at Disney World. He goes, "There goes one right there," and I was like, I remember he was dirty too, and he's like, he wasn't nice. So I told this other black dude, I said, "I'm gonna be honest, he playing you."
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I was like, he bringing a lot of black dudes up in here. He goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You need to get up and get your life together."
Not you were having coffee with them in the living room. Like, this man is not going to take you seriously.
He was not playing at all.
Yo, Grindr is a very funny thing.
So Tinder took their style from Grindr. 100%. That's how it was. So Grindr it was. Everybody took from that community. But I remember Grindr was like, it was big in like 2012 or something like that.
I mean, I think it's still big, but it's so wild to me. Like, so my best friend's gay when he tells me like, it's just different. And Tinder could never, because like women are not, I mean, some women are more forward, but it's just never going to be the same. Like my friend will tell me, he'll go meet up with a guy and it's like, you walk in and just get to business. There's not like a small talk. There's not like for a woman, like we'll go to a place that, go to meet a guy and you have to pretend like you don't know what you're there for, like, oh, I don't know, and it's like guys are just like.
Yeah, I was more out in the wilderness. That's where I met. All the women that I met in my life, I met them in like, no. I got a couple off MySpace.
Oh,
I remember MySpace.
I was never big on the apps. I only got on apps last year because I was always in relationships. So I started apps. Not last year, a year before. Oh my God, time is flying. It's been like 2 years. And I was like on them and I was like, this sucks. Being on an app, it's awful, Jared.
My friends have a good time on the apps.
Yeah,
they feel like they're playing Madden with cheat codes.
I hate it.
They are some players from the Himalayas.
Well,
they
that's
be showing
different.
me. And I was like, man, you swiping all over.
I hate it so much. You can't catch a vibe for somebody on an app. So it's like, I don't know. And I'm also like, looks are good, but it's also like, that's not it. And like, you can't catch. Are
you looking for love?
Yeah, of course.
You've always been a relationship type of gal.
I was, but no, not when I was on the apps. I was like, I just wanted to date because I was like, I want to know what I like. I want to know, like, I want to really take my time. I didn't want to like just rush into something. I wanted to be by myself.
Relationship you ever had?
5 years.
5 years.
I've had 2 5-year relationships.
Oh my God, a decade.
I was engaged.
You were serving prison terms.
I was. That's literally what Derek says. He's like, something about if you serve 10 years in prison, you get like disability. He's like, you deserve a disability check.
You get a disability check. 5 years. Like before Lady, I was never like a long-term relationship type of dude as well. I wasn't fight or flight, but I was more like, I knew I was always leaving soon, so I know to make the most.
Oh, that makes
sense.
That's
what gave me the confidence to realize that, like I tell guys all the time, I was like, there's no such thing as a woman out of your league.
Yeah.
No such thing.
I don't know if that's true.
Look at the celebrities. Look what you can happen.
Well, like, yeah, maybe looks wise, but I mean as a person.
But I mean, I think that everything, look at the Hitch movie.
Yeah.
Even that's a movie, that had to come off real life. I think everyone has a chance. You just need an opportunity to show a woman who you are.
You just need confidence.
You need confidence.
That's what it is. I think, like, I've dated guys that looks wise were definitely, I was out of their league, but it didn't matter.
Have you ever walked in Central Park or Washington Square Park? I see guys with like just 10s walking around, and we're just all like, respect.
Yeah, well, because women are the best. We'll like really like look at your heart.
Well, even you see a dude, he might be, with a woman that might not be a 10, and some
very
of y'all
rare you see that.
I've seen it a lot. You gotta think, I've lived around the world.
Yeah, that's true.
So I've seen it in different places, and I've seen like war babies.
What's that?
So war babies, like during the war, all these black dudes and all these Americans went to these different countries, and the black dudes from the South ain't never been nowhere. So as soon as they got to France, they started making babies. So they have all these swirly brown eyes, curly hair, and their dads are like from South Carolina, and they went back after the war. So the most beautifulest women in the world.
I can imagine.
They're in Afghanistan. They're everything else. They call them like war babies. So this dude told me in Europe one time, this old man told me, and I was like, why are y'all so nice to black Americans? He goes, that's when we knew we were free. He said, because the black Americans were on the front lines. So when they saw them, they knew they were free. When they came, they brought their culture with them. So it's just like all these swirly, mixed, beautiful women. So I was never intimidated by beautiful women because I realized they're just people.
Yeah, it's true. That is true.
People are just people.
It's so true.
Pretty people can be ugly.
Yeah, 100%. Some of
fat people can be skinny people can be fat.
Yeah.
It's just like once you strip it's appealing to look at somebody. But after that, met several pretty girls that have no personality.
No personality. Guys too, yeah. Guys
At
too. I've
all.
gone on
Just
dates with guys and I'm like, wow.
beautiful.
You've got nothing to say. Like, you were beautiful to look at. And then I'm like, this conversation is not giving. Like, they'll have nothing to say, or I was on a bunch of dates where, like, I ask a question, they answer it. That's it. Nothing. I'm like, you don't even want to ask me a thing. You're just sitting here.
You're waiting it out. You're
Yeah, I was like, this is.
So, are we kissing or what?
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, that 100%. Yeah, the guy, it's just, looks they really don't matter.
I think I was maybe insecure when I was like 10 or 11. Right?
What?
I just remember just being.
That's crazy.
No, because think about it, I was
That's
young.
the last time
I was young. So when everybody was, I remember everyone was dating in class, and I was like 11 when everybody was 12.
Oh, because you were younger, yeah.
You know, so I was like, I gotta get a girl. Everybody's got girlfriends and stuff like that. And I remember I was on a church field trip, maybe like 12 or 13. I was about to move to Japan. I was like, man, F it. I'm just gonna hold this girl's hand and see what can happen. And I was just like, did like this, and then she held my hand back. No, I was leaving. I knew nothing. I was leaving. I knew I was never coming back after this. I knew I had a week left. I had like 2 weeks left inside before I moved to Japan.
Yeah.
I was like, let's see what can happen. I would just walk up and holding people's hands. She's like, oh, I never knew you liked me. I said, this is all it took. That's all I had to do was just reach out. I was sitting there I was sitting there just holding people's hands like, oh my God, I never knew you liked me.
And you're like, I'm just trying to feel something.
I'm going to Japan soon, so maybe we could see if this lasts for a while. Then after that, I just started getting confidence, and I realized like, oh wow, they're more intimidated than I am.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, it's just like they're thinking that I'm not interested and realize I should have just said something.
Yeah, 100%.
So after that, I just started getting confidence, and I just started talking. And I just realized like, oh wow,
you were just holding everybody's hand.
I was funny, everything else. I remember this girl named Amanda Reddick. I remember her too.
I love the full names.
I mean, that's what her name was. Yeah, she works at. I think she maybe still work at Harris Teeter. Last time I seen her, she was.
I don't know what that
Harris
is.
Teeter is like a Piggly Wigglies. It's like a Food Lion. And I remember I was like 19, and I came back to town, and I was like, Amanda. I was like, is your last name Reddick? She goes, yeah. She goes, Gerald? I said, how you going to call me Gerald when you kissed me in 5th grade? She goes, I don't remember all that. I said, I remember that day. It was everything. And she goes, I'm at work.
About it since.
She's like, I'm at work right now. I was like, my bad. Sorry. Oh, but good to see you, girl. How's everything? But I was more of a dude who believed in love but didn't want it all the time.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That does.
Romantic, everything else. I had to learn to be that way. But it's like after I realized like nothing. I just knew when I was like 11 or 12, I realized like, man, only thing that was stopping me was myself.
Yeah.
That's me understanding that too. And I did read one of my grandmother's books about like, I think it was about like, it wasn't seduction or about how to like go on dates and stuff like that. I was just sitting at her house just reading it.
I love your grandma had that book.
Well, I don't even know. She had like tons of books inside there. And I was just like, go to the library. She took me to the library. I suspended in school for like 10 days. And she kept taking me to the library as I fought somebody. And then I remember this kid, I forgot what he said to me. He was like bothering me. And I told my grandmother one time. I didn't tell my mom, I told my grandmother. And this is my grandma. She's like, it's very hood. And she calls his grandma. I was like, what's his name? I was like, Westmoreland. And she called, I know his grandma. And then the grandma said, you know, Suge, that boy ain't been right because his daddy is not in his life. And he don't even know his daddy, the mailman, see him every day. Don't even go to his games.
Oh.
Well, they shouldn't have let me hear that because I heard
you
it all.
brought it right to the front lines.
And he said something. I was like, man, that's why your dad don't even love you. Your dad's the mailman. He sees you every freaking day and doesn't say anything. He charged me so fast.
Of course he did.
We started tussling over there.
Did he win?
No, he didn't win. We started tussling, and he was mad though. But they broke it up. But my grandma got to school, and she was like beating me. She's like, I didn't tell you to tell my business. Because I was like, you told me to fight him. And she said, yeah, but I didn't say that about his dad. That was just mean. She said, you just a mean boy.
Yeah, that's super mean.
But that was that was my defense mechanism. Like, all right, so stop. After I did that, he stopped messing with me.
Yeah, of course.
Stopped messing me alone. But that's when I realized, like, when I was leaving, I was like, man, I finally got to the point where, like, man, now I understand my place in the school. I finally felt very important.
Your place was being a bully.
I was like, I was not letting people bully me. That was the thing.
Your daddy doesn't love you. That's a crazy thing.
Yeah, but they were like they're always like just effing with me. like the little things of just like taking my shorts and stuff like that.
Oh.
But I was very young. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I was in 6th grade. They were like in 8th, and they're like bothering me. But after I did
And that's
that,
a big difference when you're that young.
that was the last time he ever did that, though. I had to hit him where it hurt. I had to hit him with his knees. But I realized, like, 'cause I remember he had a girlfriend. I remember his girlfriend loved me because I was in class. And was like, Jared, it's so funny. Why are you bothering him all the time?
Oh, that's why he probably hated you more.
I didn't know that till she told me.
Oh, did you
She's like,
end up sleeping with her?
No, I was in 7th grade.
Oh, that's
I was in 7th
too
grade.
young.
But she was the one but she was the first chick that were like cool because sometimes like, my dad were like middle class.
Yeah.
But I watched him ascend to middle class. So
Well,
I don't
that's
know what
really
it's like
nice.
when he was poor.
Yeah.
He'd know, remember, but I don't.
Yeah.
So when he says things, I'm just like, we are not poor. Does that make sense?
We are not poor. I
Like
love
middle
that.
class people, middle class parents always remind you of the stuff they didn't have.
Oh, and all the time.
And they try to put it on you.
100. My dad, I used to put cardboard in my shoes. I'm like,
Or
great.
just like,
good
y'all
for
better
you.
be happy. We're going to SeaWorld and fix your attitude. I'll turn this car around.
All the time. All the time. We go to Six Flags. 'Cause we didn't go to Disney. We couldn't afford to get down there. But we go to Six Flags. And like, but well, I don't know if that was anywhere else, but like you had to drink a Coke can and you would get like buy one, get one free. So I would be like, I don't want to drink it. Like, I don't want to drink it. And my dad would be like, you do what I say. And he's like, you're lucky we're even going. I'll turn this car around. And then be like, you know.
No
it's
one
like,
will go to SeaWorld. I'm like, we don't want to go to SeaWorld. We've seen it already.
literally, we would go every time my dad would, like, when he would take like vacation, we would just stay here. We were going to Six Flags. Like, I rode all those rides already. I'm like, can we go to Disney? And he's like, you going to pay for your flight?
Yeah, he would
And I
take
was
us
like,
to Disney World.
I'm 7 years
everything
old.
Else. That's that. They were like blue collar, hardworking people.
Yeah.
So it was just like, those kids were rough, man. Those
Yeah.
kids were rough. And my grandmother didn't make it rough. She made me, she's like, you got to be tough.
Yeah.
That's what she would tell me and brother. Y'all got to be tough. These boys is hood boys. You got to get ready. And I was like, I'm from the burbs, but we were sitting there scrapping and everything else.
I love
I'd rather
that.
get beat by my cousins or I got to beat with them.
That's
so that's when
true.
I just learned about just like saying, F it. That was me being young saying like, what's the worst that can happen? And I remember this girl's like, you want to be my boyfriend? I was like, yeah, I would love to be your boyfriend. Then after that,
Then you were like, nah, I want to be free.
no, it's just more girls started liking me. I was like, what, I can have more? Then I'm like, hey, I don't think this is working out. And she's like, what? And then it's like, sometimes I feel like it's a scent. Like once somebody knows that you're wanted, more
Oh, then
people
more
want
people
you.
want you. That's so true. That's a big thing for women too. Like I feel like I know so many girls that would like say no to guys, and as soon as that guy got into a relationship, they're
Facts.
like, "Do you think he's cute?" And I'm like, he's been on you for years.
Facts.
That's a real
Stephen
thing.
Q. Urkel. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Stephen Q. But I remember that.
Yeah, when he got with Myra,
I remember
Laura
shout
didn't
out-
know how to
he
act.
never appreciated it.
Yeah,
That's why I feel like it's just like, I just knew that as it means. Imagine that at a young age knowing that.
that's crazy.
So I didn't have a problem approaching women at all. Imagine being in a different country. You had to find a way to get their attention
That's
really
crazy.
fast.
I used to be really confident. I would approach every guy that I wanted to talk to, and I feel in my older age now I'm even more nervous.
Well, in Europe, the women act like the men.
That's crazy.
And the men are like towards like the stereotypical women. So like I'd be in a club in like Germany and this girl walk up like, what's about that? Look at you. You don't look at me like are you think you not think I'm pretty? I was like what? She's like, I've been trying to dance and get your attention. You didn't look at me. I was like, all right, well let me walk over there. No. I was like, I'm just tired. But it was just like that because this this girl let me know. She goes, you guys are a lot of people's fantasies. Like we read about Black Americans. We read about the culture, everything else. So we were like legit. People like, do you know P. Diddy? And I'd be like, yeah, I know
Yeah.
P. Diddy. That's my cousin. Yeah, I know P. Diddy.
That's so funny because when I first went to Puerto Rico and like met my family out there, and like, you're from New York? Do you know? And they would name like every like New York rapper, and it's like they think like we live right next to them, and we were like, yeah, see him all the time.
That's what they thought. So we got like the different perspective of life over there.
That's fun. You probably had a really good time.
Had a great time. But to that dude with that old chick, man, go to
Oh,
Colombia.
yeah, that's right.
Give $5,000, get you a surrogate. That's what you need. It's only $4,900, and probably tax would be $5,000. I googled it.
What are you thinking about getting a surrogate in Colombia?
Yeah, I think when me and lady have kids, I don't want to put her through pregnancy that many times, so maybe like 3 times, and after that we'll get surrogates to get
How
the
many
rest
kids
of
do
them.
you want?
I want a lot. I want to be fruitful and multiply. Me and my
Okay,
brother
you
are
wanna
the
be like
last
Nick
waters.
Cannon.
No, I want with one woman. I don't want that many. I want to. That's really.
That's
Shout out to him. I'm pretty sure when they all get together, it's fun. Like my grandfather had 10 kids. No, yeah, like
You think when the
he had
kids
12.
get together, it's fun? Yeah, not when all those wives
But I mean, he had it
or
with,
all those women.
he had, if I'm not mistaken, he had 8 with one woman.
What?
And
Oh, your grandfather. He might
8 with one
McCannon.
woman and like three with one with. But I remember like when I would go visit when we have all his brothers and sisters, my dad's brothers and sisters. It was the funnest time listening to old stories and stuff like that. And me and my dad had 4, and my grandfather's mother had 16 kids, 8 with one man, 8 with another man.
Woo!
So we all from like big families.
A big family, yeah.
I want to make those memories. Like that's why I treat like everybody's my family here.
Yeah.
You know.
That's true.
Like I'm really big on family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm big on family, but
you don't want kids?
Of course, I want kids.
How many?
I'm fine with 1. I'll do 2 because I'm so close to my brother, and like I'm like, oh, my kid will grow up with his kids, and it'll be fine.
I want a lot.
I used to want like 5 kids, and then I was like, there's no coming back from that. And I'm also older now, so I don't have it in me to have 5.
A boy and a girl, twins. My grandfather's a twin. And ladies' grandfather's a twin.
Oh, so it runs in the family.
So a boy and a girl. I'll say it now. The boy's name would be Gabriel, and the girl's name would be Gabriella.
Oh, I love that. Gabriella is one of my favorite names.
My 2 angels. That's what I would call them. And then would have.
Now I'm about to cry.
Yeah, you always tell me you be
I
crying
do.
watching my son.
Jared has. You guys have to go to his page and you have to see his little proposal video to Lady. Your speech. I was inconsolable on this couch.
I think that a lot of men.
I was sitting where you're sitting, and I watched it 400 times.
Sometimes I think people don't realize that love is a good thing.
It's a great thing. Oh my God, we were just talking about this the other day.
But you have to understand the failures of love, learn from your mistakes, and learn how to own up from your mistakes.
Yeah.
So my past real relationships that I had, I've learned how to hold my tongue. I learned how to let things go. And I learned how to accept flaws.
Yeah.
And realize everything's not perfect.
Oh my God, yeah, that's like something I had to learn because I've been in those 2 long relationships, and I'm like, I have to accept someone exactly how they are. Like I feel like as women, a lot of women, like we see potential, and we're like,
to change somebody.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I see where you can be, and I want to push you there. And it's like I had good intentions, but it's like you have to accept somebody exactly how they are in this moment, and
or don't change to be like your partner. I don't like women that act like me. There's a lot of chicks I dated that start acting like me. They start having their voice lower. They start making jokes like me. And I was like, if I want to date a mirror, I can be with a mirror. I was like, I like you because of you. I remember this chick, this chick was, when I say she's perfect, she was not perfect for me, but perfect for the man, whoever has it. But she didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because she was so in love with the idea of me. The idea of you're funny, you're sweet, you're nice. I was like, yeah, but I'm not going to be in this state anymore. And I understand that you need an opportunity to realize that. So I remember she used to tell me, like, I used to think her and one of my best friends to this day had like chemistry. And she would deny it all the time. And I was like, the reason why you're denying it because you've never been in that situation where the chemistry can be tested.
Yeah. That's a real thing.
So I tested it. Straight up and down.
And what happened?
They had chemistry. They fooled around. What do you mean? And I was not mad.
How did you test it? I gotta know. This is sounding toxic.
What happened was I was like, 18? I was 19 or something like that. And I knew they liked each other. They didn't like each other, but it was just like, you never been in the situation because I was like, that's my dog. You know what I mean? So what happened was, I remember I upset her by saying something to her. I think she asked me to show up and I just blew her off on purpose. Just completely blew her off. And I knew that she set up like this dinner, everything else, and I just blew it off. I was partying probably somewhere else, right?
All right.
But when I text my man, I was like, text her right now and say, how are you? I'm sad right now. What's going on? He goes, come over, and boom. That's when that happened. Straight up.
So he did it for you?
He didn't do it for me. But I mean, I knew they had, you know what I mean? It's just like.
Was that your girlfriend?
Nah, I didn't have a girl in college. I was straight dog world, dog eat dog world, everything else. But it was just like, we hung out a lot to the point where we knowing that the energy you're giving me is wifey material, and I don't deserve this energy.
Wow.
You dig what I'm saying?
I am. Yeah, but that's usually guys will take that, and even though they don't want you as a girl, they'll still be like.
But that's me understanding that I need you to understand that the energy that you're giving me and the what you're presenting to me is wifey material, and I don't deserve you. and I know I don't deserve this. You think I deserve it because you're thinking 5 years from now, I can change him, I can do it. I'm telling you right now, 5 years from now, I'm not going to be that guy. So you have to be in a situation for you to understand that you have to be around someone else. So it was just like that. All of a sudden, I know she would get very upset. Call me, why are you not answering your phone? Da da da. I cooked all this dinner. Blah 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 blah. I was like, yeah. I said, you'll be all right. You'll be fine. And that's what people hate when I keep calm. You know, people don't like it when people are yelling at me. I stay calm the whole time.
Yeah, that would piss me off.
It'll take a while for me to get it. If you really make me upset, if I love you like that, I'll really get upset. But I was like, yeah, well, I mean, what do you want me to do? I'm not coming over there. How dare you? I was like, hey, man, well, I hope someone enjoys that dinner.
Jared, what?
That someone hits it up, boom. I said, listen, Pee-wee, I need you to do this right now, right? I said, just trust me. He trusted me, and next you know, she's crying. She comes over there. Whatever happens, happens. Then the next day we're playing Madden, and he goes, oh, yeah, what's-her-face came over. I said, I know. And he told me what happened. So I'm sitting there talking to her. And she pretended like nothing happened. She's like came in like the next day. Yeah, they met. I don't know if they went all the way, but they did something.
They did something.
So next you know it, he's my dog.
Yeah.
I had to let him know too. I said, remember, you're my dog before all this happens. Don't get attached or anything else. You're still my dog. So she's talking to me, and she's like, oh, last night was crazy, da 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 da, everything else. I said, not as crazy where you were last night. Face dropped, everything else.
Yeah, I would die.
And I told her, I said, look, I forgive you for this.
No, you didn't.
That's what I said. I knew you were going to do it. You just had to be in that situation to know what you're willing to do. I knew you were going to do that. You just never been in that situation. Ugh. You're hurt, you're upset, and you're upset. You want retaliation. You want revenge. And my thing is, I was like, I don't want to be with a person who's that spiteful of me that would try to hurt me like that.
That's true. That's crazy.
But that's just, I've lived around the world. So I've been around, I've dated older women, younger women, everything else. But I was put in that situation as well to find out. Then after that, and now we had a conversation and she goes, my biggest mistake is trying to hurt you. And I was like, your biggest mistake is not listening to me.
Look at you, just being a heartthrob.
I mean, I think as a man, you got to think about it though. A lot of people, when you're from a small town, you don't know what's around the world.
That's true.
Like even New York is very diverse. The world is more diverse.
I know. Yeah.
It's diverse. Very diverse. I remember this Dutch chick was for a while. We were dating for a really long time. Mm-hmm. And I leave the college and she goes, let's stay together. Let's do long distance, open relationship. You can do whatever you want, everything else. I said, hee, right? That's what she said, straight up.
Oh my God. My high school boyfriend, when he went to college, we tried an open relationship. That did not work.
And I told her, I want you to date as well. I want you to date. Don't hold back from me. Everything else, have fun. So she meets this dude who's a banker. Big banker.
Yeah.
She's telling me about him. And I was like, just keep. So he asked me on a date. I was like, just go. Are you sure?
Did you mean that?
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, you got to understand, I was introduced to the world.
Yeah.
So European dating is completely different. Like, prostitution is legal in the Netherlands. So a lot of women don't like you taking them on dates.
Oh, because they feel like that's like a prostitute thing?
So they would take you on dates.
What? I'm
dead serious. I've been plenty of times where some girl took me to Varoxy. That's like the movie theater. Took me out on a date. I said, let me get dressed up. Took me on dates. Or you pay your way, I pay my way. We're going Dutch.
Oh, that's why that's...
Facts.
Holy shit. I never knew that's why that was called going Dutch.
So when I got back to the South, when girls would ask me to go out places, I wouldn't bring my wallet. I was like, I said, let me get cute, girl.
Let me get cute, girl.
I'm like, where's your wallet? I was like, where's your freaking wallet at? She's like, I'm paying for these. I said, you asked to take me out. And it's like, we are not in Europe anymore. But that was me, the European mindset. Like, it spoiled me a little bit because they were more like open. So she introduced me to like openness. She's like, I know you're going to be in college and having some fun. When you come back to the Netherlands, we'll start it back over. Okay, good. So next you know it, I remember she calls me when I'm in college. She's like, oh, what are you doing? I was like, I was partying and stuff like that. And she goes, I met someone. I was like, good. She asked me on a date. I was like, you should go. Yeah. I was like, yeah, go date, Who am I to tell? And I think there's an important lesson for a lot of men to know. When you win, you lose. And when you lose, you win. Mm-hmm. I could have won and told her not to do anything like that and just hold me down while I'm in college being buck wild and having a good time. Or sometimes you got to lose because she's going to losing me. She won out on a great guy. Mm-hmm. And she wouldn't have met that guy if I was being stubborn.
Yeah, but you have to be mature to feel that way.
I mean, I was a player from the Himalayas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But most people, like, so me and my ex, we were open, stupid, but I didn't really want it, obviously. But it was like he went to college, and when he came back, he was like, I want you to stop everything you've been doing since I was away. And I'm like, well, that's not how that works. Yeah, or like, you know, it was like, we were just talking about this the other day, this day, we were having a conversation, because I was like, even when I ended things with one of my exes, not the high school one, after that, we were trying to remain friends, right? And then he'd be like, are you seeing anybody you can tell me? And I would always say no. And then finally I was like, you know what? It's been long enough. I'll tell you. Yeah, I've been on a couple dates. And it was like, as soon as I said, he's like, are you kidding? You've been on dates? And it's just like that mentality. There's a lot of guys that don't want to see like their girl with somebody else.
Everybody
and it's
wants
like,
their
nobody
steak.
is anybody's,
you want
really.
your steak and you want to eat somebody else's steak as well. Which is cool if y'all talk about that stuff. But Europeans are very open.
That's
like,
cool.
Very open. I remember she's dating around. So I get back to the Netherlands and like I'm at a party and he pulls up at the party when she's there and we're like talking and he just walks up to me and just said, I forgot what he said to me. He goes, oh, welcome back. I said, thank you, appreciate it. I said, I heard you've been trying to hold my spot down. Me just, you know, I mean, I'm talking trash to him and he goes, yeah. He goes, don't drop the ball. I said, I can drop the ball. It's my field. And then it's just me and him just exchanging words to each other. And then I was like, I like him. For him to come up to me and say something like that, I like that. That's showing me that you like. If you
I get it.
Take her from me, dog.
Yeah.
If you want, go ahead. I'm not going to hold anybody back. So she was opening up this big dance studio, I remember, and that's how she met him because he funded the dance studio. So we met a few times and we never became friends like that. But I was just telling her
there was a respect there for each other.
I was just like, you know, dating. It's like it started getting serious between them. And I remember she had the opening of the dance studio. And I was like surprised. Surprising coming to the thing. So it was me and my boy. They're hiding me. And her favorite thing was Elmo. So I bought this giant Elmo.
Oh,
it's like a giant Elmo. Like every time it touches, I'm like, that's what it sounded like. So I get there and I'm like, how do I get inside this plate? Like what? So he like switched the entrance I have. So my boy hits me up. I was like, how do I get in this place? And he goes, you might want to hold off. I was like, no, open the door. So as soon as I walk in, he's on the microphone and he goes like, da 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 da. I love you. I can't wait anymore. Will you marry me? In front of the whole party, right?
And you were sitting with an Elmo?
I was like in the corner. I was supposed to come out. So I was like, oh, freak, let me get up out of here. So I pick up the Elmo, and as I'm picking up here, and everybody was like, oh, Jared's here. Everybody's like, Jared's here. Everybody like, oh, I said, oh. So everybody's like, Jared's here. So I pulled the Elmo. So I was like, I'm like walking through like.
You got her an Elmo, you got her a ring.
Right. So I'm like walking through Rotterdam with this giant Elmo. And like me and my boy Esmil, he's like laughing. We laugh about everything. We don't take anything serious. And he goes, man, can you believe this happened? And then so then she calls me and stuff like that. And we have like a serious conversation. And then she was like, what? She's like, I won't say yes if you tell me. And I said, listen to me. I said, you have a man that loves you. You got a man that wants to spend the rest of his life with you versus a man who's in college trying to figure out what he wants to do.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's big of you.
Take it. I was like, I'm happy that you found happiness that's beyond a happiness I can provide for you. That's just me being just a trill person to be like, look, man, I want you to be happy. Then after that, then I cried and stuff like that. And
no,
I was
of course
like,
you did.
I didn't cry.
You didn't?
No, I didn't cry. It takes a lot. You got to understand, like, I'm not.
I said, it takes
a lot to hurt me. A lot to hurt. Death is like.
You didn't cry when Lady and you broke up?
No.
You're lying.
I'm dead serious. I've had my heart broken throughout life, so it's hard for people to get to me. It was hard for me to.
Jared, one thing about me, I'm gonna cry for everything.
Yeah, but like
I
was trying to cry on my wedding to go viral. I was trying to let him out.
Oh my God, that picture of Lady, the way she's crying was the most beautiful thing.
I was trying to get him out for me.
Lady being beautiful when she cries. One thing about me, hideous. I'll cry for a commercial. I saw a rat in the street that definitely ate poison. A rat, and I'm terrified of rats, but I knew it was struggling. Cried for that. I will cry for anything. I can cry right now.
I feel like you're about to cry. My
eyes burning. Just literally, I'm not even kidding.
It's just I understand that you have to sacrifice today for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I think the greatest skill that a man needs to master as a man, wherever you are, is mastering your emotions. No woman wants a man too emotional.
Not too emotional, but we do like a little emotion.
I mean too emotional. To the point where you can't control your emotions. Like you're embarrassing and everything else. Imagine if I didn't control my emotions in that setting and ruined her special moment.
That's true.
Imagine if I did that. Imagine like your biggest day ever. I ruined it for me being not selfish enough to leave.
Exactly. And you knew you weren't even right for her. So it would be like you ruined it for no reason.
You dig what I'm saying? Imagine if I was a type of person like, nah, hold me down while I'm in college and stuff like that. It's just me as a person just knowing, being around the world, being introduced to like open dialogue.
Yeah.
That was one thing I was introduced. That's what the best thing happened, was just meeting women around the world and listen to their theories and just talking to them. So I understood what it's like to give, what it's like to understand what's not for you, and what it's like to just have fun. And after that, we're still cool to this day. We're still homies. We're still friends. She still supports me.
She got married to him?
Yeah. They got kids, everything.
Oh, good for her.
Everything. But sometimes the hardest thing is for a man to step to the side and realize tonight's not your night.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like sports. It's not going to be your night. You lose, you got another night to perform.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm big on that too. I'll cry. I used to be really good at like holding it in and waiting till I was alone, but now I like to feel my emotions because I used to not deal with them. But if it's someone else's moment, whether I feel some type of way about it, I'm never gonna make a scene.
I
can let other people have their thing.
I grew up on rom-com, so I love seeing women cry. I love it.
Yeah.
Happy tears, any type of tears, I'll just be watching like, I like wiping them away. That's my favorite part. I like just taking my thumb and zoop.
And just wiping them off.
I like taking and just zoop. I remember when we were
I'll cry. I'll watch Love and Hip Hop and I'll cry. That's a real thing. 100%. I think I cried yesterday. I was watching it and one of the girls was talking about her dad and they don't have a good relationship. Man, I felt for her.
I remember me and Lady were at Animal Kingdom. We were dating for maybe 5 months. We're hanging out every single day. And whatever she went in her past relationships, I remember we're sitting in the park and she was having a hard time one day. I was like, what's going on? She's like, let's just leave. So we're leaving the park. We're sitting in the parking lot. I said, look, you got to tell me what's wrong. You know what's going on? And she just freezes and then she started crying. I was like, what's wrong? And she said, well, I just feel like I think I love you. And I said, I wiped the tears away.
You said you do.
And I said, I know you love me.
Of course you do. You'd be crazy not to love me.
I said, the feelings that you have are mutual.
Oh, Jared.
Started crying. I didn't cry, but she cried on me and stuff like that. And I said, let me tell you something. I said, you don't got to worry about anything. I said, if you trust me, we'll be all right.
Jared, you're trying to make me cry.
Nah, I mean, that's the type of, my thing is just you got to know, when I met her.
Oh my God, that was so beautiful.
I proposed on our first date.
I know, that's so beautiful.
You know what you want. And people, some people, are amazed by her beauty, but it's just I've seen beauty.
Yeah. I mean, she's gorgeous.
I've seen world-class beauty. I know what I need. I know what I deserve. A lot of dudes, when you get around a pretty chick, you don't know how to act because you never had a pretty chick before.
Yeah.
So you just anxious. Who's talking to her?
Yeah.
But like I said, when I was young, when my dad moved us around, I was collecting dimes like parking meters. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's not the 2 mile harm. It's just I knew when we were in the Netherlands and Japan, I remember I was like, why would I date anybody in my high school?
Yeah.
When we're inside the most wonderful country in the world. My prom, I was 16. I took a 21-year-old to prom.
I think you told me this.
And everybody was just like, I said, yeah, slide me some. Yeah. What's happening, daddy? What's up? They're like, what? It. I was sitting what? I said, why didn't I just ask? And then we had a good time. And I was like, heard about prom. But I just love, my favorite thing, I think the best part of the relationship is getting to know somebody.
It's the best.
It's the best. And not sharing enough information. That's why I'm so happy that I was dating before social media, because I feel like it's not even fair now.
Yeah, because you feel like you know stuff.
Yeah, it's not fair. You can't hide anything because they can Google everything about you. You got to tell your salary, everything else. The best thing about it was literally each text learning something new about somebody.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
That's the best part of a relationship. You're just hiding your mystique.
Yeah, I love it.
The mystique is gone.
Yeah.
I think the thing about me that a lot of women liked was like I was very mysterious and they didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
They didn't know where I was from. They didn't know where my accent came from. It's like he talks in riddles and stuff like that. They didn't know. It's like the mystique is there.
Yeah.
Like I wonder what it's like. I wonder who it is. But yeah, I think the mystique is gone. I feel like that's the art of dating that a lot of people, you don't need to know everything.
You don't. It's nice to like gradually learn things about people.
That's the best part.
That's the best thing. I love that.
And it's easy to fall in love fast. I remember this girl in college, she was from like Baltimore. And I remember.
Now you letting your whole roster out on my podcast. I love
that.
This
Ain't even, this is college.
I love it.
College is I was very easy on the eyes. But I remember in college, this is just an example.
Not you acting like you're 80 now.
But
you said I was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out the game now. But I remember in college that Facebook was huge.
Yeah.
It was
that was
huge,
like a new
but
thing.
This was before. But Facebook used to be like when you added a person, it wouldn't add them away. It would show you their profile of what their interests were, everything else. How do you know this person? And
That's
I remember
true.
this girl in college. She she was just intriguing to me.
Yeah.
She wasn't drop dead gorgeous, but she was very intriguing to me. She was like kind of brolic a little bit. So it was just like, I was really into wrestling. So she reminded me of China from like DX. Yeah, like a brolic figure.
And you liked that?
Yeah, I was into like brolicity and brocclicity. And I remember I read her Facebook. I was like, I got to get her name. So I like looked on Blackboard to see like what her name was. She commented. I was like, okay. So I found her on Facebook.
Blackboard, wow.
That's how long it was.
That's a long time ago.
And I read her interests. And I wrote jokes about all of her interests when she added me. So she wrote, her favorite movie was Nemo.
Of course.
And then she's like, da-da-da-da. And I remember on Facebook, like, where are you from? And I wrote where I'm from. I put 48 something Wallaby Way or something like that to Australia. So the first thing she saw was a Nemo joke. And after she read what we have in common, she just writes this long message like, oh my God, we have so much in common. We got to meet up. Oh my God, everything else. Just me understanding like.
Yeah, how it works. That's
me
so
understanding
funny.
how it works. I was like, oh, instead of me, I'm going to beat you to the punch and just write every question that you had, I had a joke for her. She's like, oh my God, we got so much in common. We got to come over and watch Nemo. I said, oh my God, I love Nemo. I had to polish up on. I haven't watched that movie. I didn't know what. I was like, what type of, I don't even eat fish. I'm allergic to fish. I'm allergic to seafood.
I don't eat fish.
I was allergic to seafood.
She didn't want to eat Nemo.
I was allergic to seafood, but it was the icebreaker. The icebreaker, me knowing, I was like, okay, Facebook's huge right now.
Yeah.
What's the thing that makes me interesting? If you're looking at everybody's profile, like, oh my God, this is my favorite movie. He quotes, we love the favorite movie. And after that, boom, everything was easy after that.
It's such a game.
It's
Dating
a game.
is such a fucking game.
It's a game.
I hate it.
I loved it.
I mean, I don't enjoy the game. Get me out. I'm tired, Jared.
Yeah,
I'm 34.
If I was in the game that late, I'd be tired too. But
yeah, wow.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You just fucking killed me. He said, yeah, bitch, I could. Yeah.
I'm just saying if I was.
So get your shit together. Settle down.
I'm just saying when you're young in the game, it's fun because I love meeting people.
Well, yeah,
I love meeting people. You gotta think. Everywhere I go, I meet people because I met somebody in the park today. I was like, hi, how are you?
I hate talking to people.
She's like, oh, and then she's like, what? I was like, my name is Mara. I said, that means bitter. And she goes, yeah, I know. I was like, are you bitter? Because you feel bitter right now? And then we're just sitting there laughing. And then she like, I was waiting for something. But they're like, you just sitting there talking to somebody? I was like, yeah, I just know.
Oh, my God. I feel like growing up in New York is like you're around people all the time. I just don't want to talk to anybody anymore. Like, I've been in Uber. I just want to be silent. There's no I've grown up. Everything is so hectic. There's like always people around. It's like sometimes, like when they said like the city was shut down, I was like, thank God.
I think it's like Aristotle, be kind because you don't know what everyone's going through. So
That's
for me,
true.
If I made that girl laugh in the park today, she'll remember that joke.
That's true. I mean, I'm always nice, but I'm rather like, I'm like nice. I'll give you, I get an Uber. I'm like, how are you? Having a good day? Okay, great. And then it's like.
That's the Southern way though.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember being on my grandmother's porch and my grandfather's brother lived across the street. And instead of them calling each other, hey, what's going on over there?
I love that.
Huh? You got some corn? Huh?
That's so
Go run
funny.
over there and ask him, does he got corn? I said, he said no. All right.
I love
But
that.
that's how they like communicated. So I just think that the art form, I don't know what it's like dating now. You know, I've been out of the game for a while.
Yeah.
But I think now, like, especially when you get into marriage, it's like trying to find ways to make sure you continue to date.
Yes.
You continue
That's
to
important.
make. Like me and Lady had to learn. She wasn't my best friend in the beginning, but we had to learn to become friends. Most of it was just physical.
Mm-hmm.
Then it became emotional.
Yeah.
Then I had to learn how to like have her accept me,
Yeah. That's big.
me, my family, everything else.
The family stuff is big. That's,
She's Caribbean
yeah.
and Spanish. So when she first met my mother, she said good night. But that's a greeting in her country. But my mother's from the South. She said, oh, no, girl, I'm not ready to go to bed. You're not sending me to bed. That's how she met my mother like this. She said, hello,
"You're
good
not sending
night.
me to bed."
She said, hello, good night. What's she I'm not ready to go to bed. I'm not going to bed. Did she just send me to bed? I was like, no, that's how they greet in their culture. Okay. Oh, I thought she told me good night. Like, go to bed.
She was trying to get rid of me, not in my own house.
So we can talk. And then I had to be like, oh, I was like, hey. I was like, that's just how they say a greeting. It's like, oh, okay.
That's so funny. I guess it's never been a culture thing with my family. It's just my family's a lot. So I just would rather.
But I love families.
I love family. I'm big on family.
I'm big on how people met. Mm-hmm. I'm big on stories. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's all we have is everyone's story.
Yeah.
That's why I post so many stories on Instagram. Because I feel like they're little movies of people.
It is. It's true.
And I want people to see movies. I love like movies. There's a movie that you would love. It's called Dear Frankie.
Oh,
have you ever heard of that
No,
movie?
but Frankie's my dad's name, so I feel...
It's a
Feel
tearjerker.
drawn to it.
Me and my boy watched it at 3 o'clock in the morning after coming out of a foam party.
What a change. After coming out of a phone party.
We were leaving Germany, and it was like, it's a wild night, just dancing and stuff like that. And I was like, you want to watch a movie? He goes, yeah, I don't care. I put in Dear Frankie. It's about this Gerard Butler, 300
I
from
do know
Sparta.
who he is. Yeah.
This woman.
I heard he smells.
He smells?
That's what I read somewhere, that he smells.
Really?
Yeah.
Must be the chest hair. He doesn't shave it or something.
Maybe. But I heard that's why he doesn't like not in things anymore. Because people don't want to work with him because he smells so bad. No, I really heard that. Is it him? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's him. Oh, no, it's not. Who's the guy from Gladiator?
Oh, Russell Crowe.
That guy. They look
He was
alike
just
a little
in
bit,
Thor.
no?
They do look alike.
They do, right?
They're like flabby.
So that one, he stinks.
Listen to this movie. You should watch
Yes.
it. I love rom-coms. I love
a
love
rom-com.
stories. Like once I make it, you just see me write nothing but love rom-coms the whole time. I got tons of them.
I love it. That's my favorite thing.
So the woman inside the movie, she had a baby with someone that she didn't expect to have a baby
Yeah.
with. The dad leaves, right? So when the boy starts getting older, she's wondering, like, he's starting to ask where his dad was. And when he's 4, she tells him, your dad's a sailor. And she made up a ship name.
Oh.
So every 2 months, she would write him a letter as his dad and put a stamp from a different place around the world.
That's really sad.
And then the boy gets online and finds out the ship is coming to his town. So he tells his mom, Dad's coming. The ship will be here.
No.
So she had to go to a bar and ask a guy to pretend to be her boyfriend and be the child's father for like a couple hundreds of dollars.
But they fall in
And
love.
she meets Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
And he pretends to be her man.
I'm
and
sold
then
on
they
this
start
movie already.
falling in love.
Of course they do. Oh, I'm watching this tonight.
So when he first meets, he goes, hey, Frankie, I'm your papa. I'm your dad, Frankie. The boy hugs him. And then eventually, so they go through real relationships and they break up and stuff like that. And he's like telling her about herself, about not lying to the kid. And then she like decides to break up with him because it's hard for her to be in a relationship. And then she tells the boy, Frankie, that your dad left. And he writes a letter because the boy always writes his dad a letter. So he writes his dad a final letter and goes, Mom, I know it's you. And I know you've been writing me these notes the whole time. I know he's not that. Let me tell you, my boy cried like a rattlesnake.
I would be too. I've never even heard of this movie.
It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I look back, and he goes, only reason why I'm crying is because this freaking hypnotic is inside my system.
I was going to say, the foam got in my eye.
He's like, you crying? I said, I'm not crying, but I'm looking at you just laughing the whole time.
I love that.
That's a lie. Last time I did cry was at my boy's wedding.
You cried at someone else's wedding, but you cried at your own?
I tried it. I cried a little. I tried those like tears, but I was trying to go.
Tried?
I was like, I wanted to go viral. You know how when a girl walks down the aisle and you see the black dude crying?
That's my favorite thing. I watched those over.
I was trying to do that.
Oh my God, no!
like
But that
a
picture
little-
of Lady crying is the best.
My boy's wedding. They divorced now, but shame on them. But they're divorced. But at his wedding, we're running around. F it. He didn't tell his wife about the bachelor party.
Oh.
He didn't tell me about bachelor party because I didn't know there was one. He just said Jared was planning one, and I had no idea that I was in charge of the bachelor party. I'm not even the best man.
Yeah, what the fuck?
But I am his best man. He just has a brother.
Oh, he had to do the politics. Yeah.
So I was like, let's just go hang out and party in North Carolina. I know some people. But I remember she texted him the night of his wedding and goes, don't let Jared make you not get married tomorrow. And I said, what have y'all told her about me to think that I'm this party animal and everything else? Why is everybody blaming me the whole time? Yeah. Every bridesmaid was just like, Jared, we heard you was in town. We heard that you was about to turn it up and everything else. So, long story short, he goes, can you go check on the bride? I need to get something. I walk in and she has all this makeup on and they're like praying over her and she's crying. And she goes, I'm ready to marry your best friend.
That's beautiful.
I said, and I go back and talk to him. I was like, she looks beautiful. And now she's walking down the aisle. He's just boo-hooing. And I've known him since he was 9 years old.
Yeah. Oh,
so I was just
I love a wedding.
I was like, you know how it just fell out.
Yeah.
And then next you know it, his brother goes, Jesus Christ. Do both of y'all need tissues?
I love that.
I was like, it's just allergies for me.
Yeah. Sure.
Then I cried at a funeral. Funerals I do cry.
Well, that's different.
Funerals
of
I cried. But yeah. But I don't think I've ever been heartbroken. I've always had self-inflicted wounds. Mostly
for me too. Like every relationship I've ended. But it's sad. Like
I break my heart before the person could break mine.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So it's just like I know that the one I apologize, all the women that I apologize to, because I feel like that every man you need to grow. I remember this one girl, she was treated me nice, everything else, but I just knew that I was leaving. I was moving from the Netherlands. I was moving from Japan to the Netherlands.
Jesus.
And I saw my boy, when this girl left, I saw him crying at a bus stop. And I said, I'll never be like that in my life.
You look at me, you're like, never, couldn't be me.
I remember him just weeping.
Yeah.
His girlfriend was like moving back to Indiana. We're in Tokyo. And she gets on the bus. And she writes him this long letter. And then she goes, I'll never stop loving you.
Oh, my God.
And she gets on the bus. The bus drives off slowly. And I remember my boy Joe Saffold. He's a big, big husky, 330. And my boy Garrett, he was the one crying. He pulls him in his arm. And he just lets out this cry and just cries. Tears running down his face.
Oh, my God. That's sad.
Everybody was crying.
Of course. I cried so hard when my high school boyfriend went to college. Because we lived like 2 blocks away from each other. And then it was like he was leaving. I mean, it wasn't that far, but we were kids. So it wasn't like I was going to Boston on the weekends to see him. But I remember all day trying to hold it in. Like he was packing his bags and stuff. And I felt like the thing in my throat, And I was like, I'm going to be fine. And then I remember when he was leaving, he gave me a hug. And it was like, it was like a loud cry. Like I couldn't even like a silent cry. It was just like, like a whole thing.
I saw that.
It was rough. And then I remember going into my apartment and my parents like seeing me, and I just like went into my bedroom. My mom like knew. So she like came and followed me in the bedroom. I just like cried in her lap.
I think seeing my boy cry like that, and maybe because I've just always been that type of dude to just make a situation funny.
Yeah.
I was just like, I remember too. And I remember.
What did you say?
He's crying. All of her friends are crying. Sad.
Of course.
Tears coming down their eyes. He just looks over at me. I look back at him. I said, no woman, no cry.
No, you did it. And he laughed though. Sometimes you need that in those moments.
That lighten up the mood.
Of course. But that's how I feel like that's the only way. That's how at least that's how I've been able to get through things.
I think what made me change my ways, my toxicity is talking to. I remember my little sister was crying at like 15 because her boyfriend left.
Yeah.
And I guess it was the first time me seeing a man he didn't make her cry, but I seen her sad.
But like his actions, yeah.
Made me really be like, all right.
Yeah.
But like nothing. I don't know. I used to pray and ask God what was wrong with me because nothing fazed me. Nothing fazed me. And it was just like I grew up. Like my dad he raised soldiers.
Yeah.
You know, and like he's emotional. Like he tells us he loves us and stuff like that. But I was never raised to like show weakness or vulnerability.
Yeah.
So I'm vulnerable with my wife. I'm vulnerable, and I let her know, like, you know, when I'm feeling stuff and everything else. But it took me like a while to like 17, 20 to realize that nobody cares about me. Mm-hmm. Meaning that like no one cares about your attitude.
Yeah.
No one cares. So having an attitude and being unpleasant, no one's going to care about that, and no one's going to remember someone who's unpleasant.
It's true.
So I make sure that even if you don't know me, you know that I'm nice and I'm pleasant, and I have to work on that. Like even when like when people vent to me, I'm just like, what you want me to do? And it's just like, it's just the fact that I'm a solutioner.
Yeah.
Like I find problems. If there's a problem, I find a solution.
Me too.
To
I'm
it.
all about a solution.
So like if there's no solution to it, we're just ranting right now.
Oh my God. I'm so big on that. I'm like,
so I'm always been like, so what are we going to do to solve this issue?
That's what I say. People get upset. Because some people just want to be upset. Like, or in a moment, and then you're like, all right, well, you know, let's come to a solution. Let's get you out of this. And they're like, no, you know?
So I realized, so I'm very, I think Dick Gregory used to say this all the time: hard on the outside, soft on the inside, a turtle mentality, but willing to stick my neck out.
Oh, I love that.
So I'll stick my neck out for anybody, you know? And if my neck's get cut in the process, that'll be the last. You get the shell to me.
Yeah.
You get the shell because I gave you my neck and you got the shell. But it was just like I had to learn vulnerability.
Yeah.
That's not an acquired taste. It was just like I didn't grow up.
I feel like a lot of men, that's what they learn. As
but I
time
grew
goes
up in
on.
a loving household.
Yeah, it's loving, but it's different.
Like my dad showed my mom so much love, treated her like a queen, everything else.
That's so nice.
My mom is just like, I was not, maybe because it was a very religious household, so everything I was doing, it was like in darkness. No one knew what I was doing because
that could be
except my
it.
brother.
Yeah.
My brother was my dog.
Yeah. Oh, I love
I remember
that.
my mom found out about like she found out I wasn't a virgin through a joke I made. She was at the house on the phone talking about, girl, I know it's hard being a virgin in college, the way these people be dressing. Right, Jared? I said, from what I hear. What'd you say? I said, yeah, it's hard. Oh, I hear it's so hard out here. But it was just me. It's just like, oh, my gosh, shame on you.
That's crazy.
But it was just like, to this day, I'm just like, man, like I can't do emotional people.
No, I know. When people are like
I'm always
overly...
the one to be the calm person. Like, how are we going to solve this? Stop, take your emotions out of it, and how you doing? And I think the best way, mastering your emotions, is everything. Mm-hmm. There's one chick I know that got the best of my emotions, and I remember it. I remember she cheated on me. Freaking. I'm not mad now, but
I promise.
I'm not. But at the time, this is a Puerto Rican chick. I remember she's Puerto Rican, and at the time, I didn't have any concubines. I was just single, you know. Excuse me, sorry. I didn't have any scallywaps. I was just young, you know what I mean? But I remember she took me so much out of my element, me being so upset. I remember I walked to the dude's house and opened his door.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I pulled up to his house, straight up and down. Step outside. He stepped outside. He was scared, shaking, because he knew he's about to get this Thor hammer.
Yeah, 100%.
It was. So in that moment, I was thinking like, all right, and this is me, like the epiphany that I had. Okay, you're upset because you're embarrassed.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You're embarrassed. Second, you're wondering like she embarrassed you and he embarrassed you. And it's just like, I'm thinking like, okay, I said, so if I do stomp you out, that's what I'm talking to. I'm saying that. I was just because, what did you do wrong?
Yeah.
I stuck out my hand. I grabbed him. I said, I forgive you.
Jared, what? I pulled up on somebody too, but I handled it.
I pulled him. My thing was like, I couldn't blame him.
It's true. It's not them. I know.
Because I would have did the same thing.
That's true.
That's a bad Brizzle. She was bad. So I couldn't blame him. I couldn't blame Tammy. That's what Wayne said. But after that, this is how manipulative I was because I used it against her. So every time I would step out, I would say, oh, you got a problem with me stepping out, but I'm not the one cheating around here.
Yeah, that's bad.
My thing is I was like this. I would use what's up? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, what's up? What's up? Oh, I didn't do that. But it was just like I forgot in my mind that number one, I was embarrassed, and for two, I forgot that she was the only woman that showed me compassion.
Oh.
Like I was in a vulnerable. I got kicked off the football team off of varsity, and I'm pissed. I'm slamming my head into lockers and everything else.
Jared.
Nah, I was.
You want a CTE one way or another?
But like I'm such a sports dude that maybe that's why this growing up playing sports. There's no. I don't think there's any emotion. You know, I remember
in sports.
I'm talking about at the end. I'm talking about like that's professional sports. I'm talking about like you got to think we're raised by toxic coaches.
That's true.
Very toxic coaches. I remember my coach like, stop hitting like a girl. I was like, I've never seen a girl on this football field. How do we know what they hit like? How do we know what they hit
Not
like?
with a smart mouth.
But it's just like I say anybody in a football locker room, any locker room, it's just like it's a roast session, everything else. And I remember being embarrassed, being kicked off of varsity. I had to take my jersey and get another jersey and get the JV jersey. And like all of my boys were on varsity.
Yeah.
All of my boys were on varsity. And I was like, I worked hard. I was benching 270 and I was like a sophomore. And I remember,
the hell out of here.
And I remember this Puerto Rican girl, I remember that the big game where they do everything else, she invites me to her house. And she didn't even tell her mom, just disrespectful. This is the first time I've ever seen a girl send her mom to bed. Her mom
What?
She goes, Mira, why he doing? He not supposed to be here. It's late. It's 11 o'clock. Why is it? And then she goes, Mommy, just go back to bed, okay? Mommy, just go back to bed, okay? We're just going to watch
What kind of Puerto Rican mother was this?
She's kind of,
because that is not.
She's kind of old. But I mean, she loved her kids a lot. This is the sweetest woman I've ever seen. But she sends them upstairs. She goes, okay, because her dad was a strict person, and her dad was so strict that the mom was so nice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So he was not in town.
It's usually like that, hot
I
and
go
cold.
over there, and we're watching a movie, and I just fall asleep, like, and I didn't realize this whole time she was distracting me because the biggest football game that I wasn't a part of, I forgot about.
Oh, that is really nice.
And the whole time I was so mad about I was just upset about different things until I realized like, yo, this person just gave me some compassion. And I was so upset about something else. And this is me taking time to reflect. And it was like this older woman. I mean, she's like 32 and I'm like 16 and she's like just giving me a game. Like telling me, I know, I was like, that's what I tell anybody. If you grew up on a military base, there is no age limit. You're going to meet different people.
Yeah.
So 32-year-old just giving me a game about like, you should treat it like this, da-da-da-da. And then, so I remember that. And then I remember this girl told me there's something special. She goes, a woman either hates you or loves you, but she'll always remember if she hates you or if she loves you. Everybody knows that guy that she hates and they'll never get out of her brain. But if she has no emotion towards you, that means you are nothing in her life.
It's so true.
So that was my switch. You either got to hate me or love me. Mm-hmm. So I knew I was leaving. So I said I had to get her to hate me.
No.
And she hated me. Hated me.
That's sad.
Hated me. She told me one time, she goes, we're at a party and I'm coming to the escalator. And she goes, I freaking hate you.
You're like, that was my plan.
I said, I know.
Thank God.
She goes, and she kicks the elevator, and I run back down the stairs, and she opens the door. I said, I said, sometimes hatred pops back up, huh? And then she was just like, she wrote this long letter about the worst person ever in the world, everything else. All I did was love you, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then the school counselor brings me into the office. And the school
counselor's getting involved.
She had to. The counselor got involved. The counselor got involved, and the counselor, she worked at my church, so she brought me in there, and she goes, I'm gonna keep it real with you.
I love that.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. She goes, I already know what you up to. And you're lucky I don't call your mama or call your daddy. Straighten up right now.
I love that.
You better get back in that classroom and apologize right now.
Jared, you have lived. You have really lived
a life. But
you really have.
But my thing was I just knew that was me not understanding that it was okay to lose.
Yeah.
And after I went through all those life lessons,
This fly is driving me nuts.
After I became like when I got older, I realized like it's okay to let a woman go. It's okay to let a woman go. It's okay to accept a friendship from a woman. And that's what I had to learn. I had to learn real hard lessons because I realized like it's not okay not to be emotional. It's not okay to hold in emotions.
Yeah, it's true.
If you're feeling something towards a person, you have to let that out. If not, it's going to build up. So I wasn't having outbursts and yelling at people, but I would do things that just not speaking to you for 8 days.
Oof, that's almost worse sometimes. I'd rather like somebody.
But I would feel,
That's the worst. Like just like the falling off the face of the earth thing.
I used to do that lady. Now it doesn't bother her at all. When we first started dating,
Well, because you
like,
live together.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about like in the first beginnings. Like, what is this guy? I would just get cold because I was like a cold person. But chronic therapy.
Yeah.
I hustled a therapist in 2011, and that's where I started taking group therapy, and we started talking about it.
Look at you, healed.
Straight up.
I love that.
I let it all go.
You need to be the therapist for half of my followers, but we have talked forever, and we only did one confession.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're not going to do another one because we're going to just go off on a tangent. And this will be a 3-hour podcast. We'll be a Joe Rogan podcast.
I just think that love is such a beautiful thing.
It is.
Right? So when I met Lady, I let her know. I said, look, I met you 3 years too early. I said, I want to give you the world right now, but I can't. And she didn't understand that because she met me like when I was right out of college. I was partying and everything else. I said, I just need time to get my life together. And at the time, she was getting her life together. So it feels like a long time we've been together, but we're very young.
Yeah.
Very young. And I had to learn everything about her.
Yeah. But it's
know?
nice that you guys built together.
You got to think about it. She makes my flyers.
Yeah, she's the best.
You had to sometimes you don't realize a lot of men don't know when you won in life. Because you're looking around until you realize like the trophy's here in your house.
Yeah.
Once you won the game, you're playing another game that has nothing to do with anyone else. It's just a game amongst yourself, like chasing greatness. So I told her. I remember she sent me she sent me all these rings, freaking liar, all these rings that she wanted, and I broke into her Pinterest. That's what I did. So I broke into her Pinterest when she was using my Mac computer, and I put this little setting on where I screen recorded everything. Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't find out what type of ring she wanted, for real. And because the point, like, after like 5 years and you don't get engaged in a black, be like, what's going on? Y'all done been together 38
Everybody.
years? Y'all done been together 38 years. Y'all didn't even think about a ring?
Yep.
Ooh, you might go to Golden Corral. They got onion rings there. So I'm like looking, and next you know, I saw this radiant diamond ring.
I love a radiant.
I saw that on her Pinterest board. I saw how many rocks it was. And she'll lie and tell everybody that she wouldn't be happy with what she got, but that's not what I saw. I didn't see no little rings. I didn't see no little bitty ones. I didn't see no little...
Oh, I see Lady's ring.
I only saw the big one. So I hit up my jeweler, and I said, I need that thing to go bling blow. I said, I want that thing to shine across the room. So I knew, I'm all back in the store. I'm always in the storytellings and callbacks.
Yeah.
I said, I already knew whenever I get engaged, it's got to be at the first place I did it to bring it back.
Yeah.
But I knew if I did it in France, it would completely different.
It would throw her off.
It would throw her off. Because in her mind, her friends are probably saying, like, it's going to happen at the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
It's going to happen here. It's France, girl. Get your nails done. Everything else is going to happen. And when we did it, a lot of people don't know, me narrating was the letter that I gave her. So what she was reading was my voice that I wrote
in that video.
That letter was me describing everything that we've done.
That was so beautiful.
You know, and
I'm gonna link it so people could see it because everyone deserves that. I feel like so many women settle, and every woman deserves to feel like that. She was so
focused on the letter that she didn't see the ring. She just put it on.
Oh my God.
She didn't even see it until we left and got outside.
Yeah.
And the sun was shining, and she says, "Watcha, Mara, Mara, watcha," and she's sitting there just flickering her the whole time like that. She's like, oh God, whoa. Then her mom got on the phone. Chinglas. I forgot what she said in Spanish. She was like, whoa, that's big like J-Lo's ring.
Yeah. And when I first saw it, I was like, what?
Yeah, people don't know. Like I got some stash tape.
I could tell.
But my thing is like, the woman deserves. I said, I want you to feel like the wait wasn't that long. It was the perfect way.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
So I let her know all the time, like, she'll say something like this, like, when we're building stuff in the house, the men in my life could build up stuff. I said, yeah, but they didn't treat you nice.
I love that. Still a little toxic.
So it's just like, and she'll laugh at that, but I was like, I might not be, I work hard, everything else, but just like, I tell her, like, listen, you deserve all the happiness in the world. The hardest thing telling a woman not to work?
Yeah.
I said, don't work. She was stressed out for, I was like, don't work, I'll take care of you. What? I was like, don't work at all. Don't work. Come to New York City and just enjoy the city and get lost in the city and make friends and understand what New York is about. Because when I got here, all I did was straight work, everything else, and you get lost. So I told her, don't work at all. You want an allowance? Because Papa Bear will give you an allowance.
Jared,
give
what?
An allowance, everything else.
Is your brother single?
Oh, my brother, no. He's not. He's got a child, 2 kids.
All right, never mind.
But I got some boys. I got some dogs like that. But I really feel like if I introduce one of my friends to a girl's out of respect to me, they cannot be who they are.
One thing about a man, he's going to eventually be who he is.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel like if someone's ever introduced you through someone else, you cannot be your true self.
I love that. You cannot,
because you're on your best behavior because you don't want to make your
friend feel.
That's how it is. I hate when people introduce me because now I have to, since off the strength, I was like, I have to be nice because you're his friend and everything else. I don't want you to think I'm a bad person if I really get.
This fly?
It's done.
You killed it? It's on your knee?
With black Levi jeans.
All right. Well, we're going to end here. What a beautiful podcast. So many gems. Yeah. The women that listen to my podcast, mostly women, are going to, I feel like, hit you up for advice.
To all you women out there, you need to communicate with men straight up. Who are we broadcasting this to? CVS?
What?
CBS? Who's it streamed to?
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
CW?
Yes, eventually.
To all you ladies out there, love is real.
It is real. I believe in it.
You can never rush love.
I agree.
Love will come.
Jared, who sent you here to say this?
This is a true story. Maybe like 11 years ago, this woman, we have to go, but I'll tell you this last story.
Yeah, it's fine.
This woman I know, she was beat very badly, right?
Oh,
by her.
that's sad.
I'm sorry to get like this. This is Florida stuff, right?
Yeah, well, people
get
beat everywhere.
She was beat, and this guy took a knife and ripped her clothes, held her underwater and everything else.
What?
Right? It's a true story. Held her underwater, and she felt after him. She didn't trust any men at all, right?
I wouldn't either.
And we met. I forgot how we met. She met like at a mixer like that. I'm in Georgia, and we just became friends very fast. And I told her as we're like meeting, and she's like, as she's being hurt, she like clings on. I was like, listen. After she told me the story, I said, look. She goes, oh, you must be an angel or something like that. You just listened to my story. You didn't try to get with me or anything else. And I said, I want you to know that there's good people out here. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of women got to realize, even though that you've been hurt, you got to take that step out to realize that even though a guy is nice to you, he might not be your angel now. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of angels that are just opening the pathway for you to find someone else.
It's so true.
You know?
Yeah, it's so true. I agree.
I really think that a lot of women got to realize, like, it's okay to be hurt, but it's not okay to be broken.
Okay. Spitting facts.
Can't be a broken person. You
no,
can't
it's so
come
true.
as a broken person expecting me to fix you.
That's so true. You definitely have to. You have to heal yourself.
Heal yourself.
Yeah, you can't expect someone to heal you.
Get therapy. Get whatever you got to do. Mm-hmm. Be your full self. Mm-hmm. How can you expect someone to love all of you when there's pieces of you missing?
Ooh.
How you doing? Tweet that out. How you doing?
That's a really good one.
Facts.
That's a really good one. Ooh, Jared, I'm going to have you back on like a separate segment or something. Where we're doing, giving girls or women some advice.
Well, sorry guys, we only got through one question.
We got one through question, but this was a really good episode. There are a lot of gems, but tell everybody where they can find you.
Hit the like and subscribe button.
Smash the... down below. Tell us wherever we could find you.
My name is Jared Waters. My name on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok is Mr. Waters. If you see a black dude on the horse, that is me.
You can never change your photo just because that's always what you say.
Black dude on the horse, yeah. That's my horse. If you are every Wednesday night in Astoria Park until the snow falls, you find us Training Day Comedy Show. We do it every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. If every first and third Sunday service.
Yes.
And then in September, every Sunday, a show called Comedy Commune.
Wait, when is this?
Starting September 18th.
Ooh.
Every Sunday in Brooklyn. It's a show called Comedy Commune with my buddy Scotty Lavelle. And Comedy Night Live every other Thursday with Matt Benjamin. And then Sunday service every first and third Sunday at 12 a.m.
Look at you.
At the Grizzly Pear.
One thing about Jared, he is booked and busy.
Busy.
Very booked and busy. You probably have to be somewhere right now.
Yeah. Shout out to them freshmen on Instagram, straight flexing. Trinidad James.
All right, you guys, this has been
Peace up,
fun.
seas
I will
down.
see you next week. Bye.